Okay, so of course the first step when you want to make ghee is to get all your supplies. And I'm using 16 sticks of butter, which is a half a cup per stick. In this case it's just Kirkland kind, and it should be unsalted. It can be salted, it won't drastically ruin the ghee, but it is better if you use unsalted. And the second step is to put all your butter into a pan. I'm using a non-stick pan. You can also use stainless steel. I'm making a lot of ghee because we use a lot of ghee. This will last probably a month, if that even. Otherwise, if you don't use a lot of ghee, you could probably get away with just using 4 sticks of butter. So yeah, and then put it in the pan, and then you just have to turn the heat up. And then I'm gonna turn it to medium low. Sorry, the stove is kind of dirty. Step 1 actually should be to clean your workspace, but yeah, I was tired last night, so so anyways, pardon that step. So yeah, butter in a pan. So it's been about 10 to 15 minutes. It takes a long time for the butter to melt, especially when you're making a large quantity like I am. But you just let it melt. You can stir it if you want to, but you don't have to. I'm not going to. So yeah, you just let it melt. As you can see, there's some bubbles forming on the top. That's completely normal. At this point, the butter is completely melted. And there are some solids already on the bottom, which you can't really see unless I get a spoon and move it. But yeah, and just like this, then you just keep waiting until it gets more bubbly. It's not really close to done. It'll still take a while for the ghee to officially be done. But in the meantime, I'm gonna continue cleaning up. Yeah, and to entertain myself while I'm waiting, I am also watching a video which is called The Summoning. Yeah, you just keep waiting. As you can see, the ghee has started to bubble. I should note that until this point I have never actually stirred the ghee. I never touched it, I just kept it on medium-low heat and I let it go. So at this point anyways, I'm just going to skim off of this foam and put it in a cup. We don't need it, we can discard that. That's all you need to do now. There should be one more point in this process where you'll need to remove the foam. But by that point it's close to done. Anyways, as you can see, it's gotten to be a really yellowish color. You can't see the solids on the bottom really so much, but it's doing the job. You just let it go. And if you want to stir it, by the way, you should be very slowly like this. And I don't put the spoon down in here. Don't put the spoon all the way down and then stir like that. You know. Very, very gentle. So anyways, you let it go. Okay, so now it's really starting to bubble, and there's some more bubbles forming. And I am once again, I'm just going to remove some of this foam on the top. And by now, there's a really nice aroma coming from this. It's really nice. Anyways, it's not done to my liking yet. You can see there's maybe some solids forming at the bottom. But yeah, I'm going to keep this going until my liking. And now you can see the bubbles have pretty much subsided. You don't have to worry about this. But I'm just going to show you. You can see very clearly there's some milk solids at the bottom. Yeah. So at this point, technically, it's almost ready to be done. I mean, you can strain it into a jar and it's done. So yeah, I'm gonna let this cook down because I like to leave mine longer than usual. And But for now, I'm just gonna get the cheesecloth or muslin cloth ready and the strainer. Okay, at this point, as you can see, it's gotten really dark. You can see the edges are really brown. The bottom is really dark. This is to my liking, but right now, because just to give it a little bit of a texture, make it a little bit softer, I'm gonna add a little bit of water and some salt, just a pinch or two. I am going to strain the ghee, and I just got this big mason jar with a lid, some cheesecloth, and then another strainer to put on top. A little bit of salt. And a little bit of water. You do not need to put salt or water. I'm just doing it because it's the way I like it. I'm going to shut it off. Okay, and now we're good. I'm going to shut it off. It's gotten really dark at the bottom. Black milk solid, but don't worry, it should be okay still. And I'm just gonna turn it off. But yeah, this is to my liking. You do not need to cook it this long at all. You can shut it off way sooner. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it sit for a couple of minutes and then I'm gonna strain it. I'm just gonna get a cloth. Now to strain the ghee. And it's messy. You might want a different pan maybe. Yeah, it's okay. Very messy. That's the ghee, very full jar. I'm just gonna wipe the ghee off before it goes too far. But yeah, that's what our ghee looks like. That's what the ghee looks like. It's a very dark brown in color. It will get lighter over time. It's still hot, so you just have to wait a few hours before it fully thickens, and by then it will be a lighter color. And I'll show you when it gets to that stage. As you can see, there's some milk solids. We just throw this out, and yeah, more milk solids on the pan. I'm just gonna soak this, then you can clean it. You don't use it, of course. But yeah, it looks burned, but it's okay. This is how I like to make it so it tastes best. For me anyways, my personal opinion. But again, you don't have to leave it sit this long. Okay, so this is the end result of the ghee that we made. I'm actually filming this a couple of days later, so we did actually use some of this. This did take about 4 hours for it to start thickening. So yeah, don't be discouraged or think you ruined your ghee if it is not starting to thicken right away. Once it starts thickening, the color will start to get lighter. As you notice, when we poured it into the jar, it was a dark orange or brown color, but now it's a yellowish color. It's actually slightly darker than what you see in the picture, but it's not the same color as we poured it in. So yeah, this is how much 16 sticks of butter will make you, or 8 cups. This is how it ends up looking inside. As you can see, it's a little bit grainy and it's a little bit watery, but that's because I added the salt and the water. But if you don't want it to be like this, if you don't add the salt and if you don't add the water, then it will be a little bit smoother and it won't be watery like this. But this is how I wanted it, so that's how I made it. This will last us about 1 month or a little bit less. Because we use it so quickly, I also do not put this in the fridge. I keep it on the counter or in the cupboard. But if you don't use it fast, then you might want to keep it in the fridge or put some of it in a smaller container and then keep that on the counter and then put the rest in the fridge. However you want to do it, it's up to you. But yeah. And I think, yeah, 16 sticks of butter that costed about $10. I know at Costco, my Costco anyway, sells ghee, and I think that's about $16 for roughly this quantity, maybe a little bit less of ghee. And at the Indian stores, I know 1 pint costs about $8, so homemade is definitely cheaper than store-bought. I also like the quality better, and the taste is also a lot better than store-bought ghee. So I do recommend making your own ghee. And yeah, this is how we use this. We put this on top of some steaming rice, about a spoonful of it, and then we'll put our curry on top of that. Or if we have roti, we'll warm the roti and then we'll put a little bit of ghee on top of that. Or sometimes if we make biryani, we'll sprinkle a big spoonful of ghee on that. Or yeah, you can also use this for cooking. There's many options for this. This is actually great for cooking, for frying foods in. It definitely gives a better flavor, I think, than oil. It might be a little bit more expensive to use than oil, but anyways, yeah, this is ideal, I think. The smoking point is 482 degrees Fahrenheit, so which is higher than most oils you end up using, so it's great for cooking. So I do recommend you try to make your own homemade ghee. There's a lot of various health benefits to this as well. Yeah, that's how we make ghee.